All right, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host Vays, joined today live by Sammy, also known as Forflies. How you doing today, man?
How you doing, guys? Good to be here again.
Shit. Hey, Sammy, your audio's just all of a sudden disappeared from my end.
You can't hear me on the Zoom?
Working a second ago. I think I know why. That's on my end. My bad.
Okay.
Okay, I got you back. Perfect. All right. We're back. We're dual streaming, guys. This is also being streamed over on the Forflies YouTube channel. And how you doing today, man?
Yeah, doing good, man. Doing good. There's a little bit of technical issues here that I need to iron out. I think my subscribers are.
You and me both. Your guys are able to see us on your channel. I think we're looking good on my channel. I'm going to have some background noise, so I'm going to let you do most of the talking on this one, and then we're just going to talk charts. I'm going to go straight into screen share here because the price is definitely moving. I did a stream yesterday at around 3 p.m. Eastern time. We are now at about 10 a.m. Eastern time. So the West Coast should be about waking up. And I did warn that this week is an MRI warning week. Things could get a little bit dicey. I personally thought that with this breakout on a daily scale, heading towards an MRI top on a daily, we had a very clean shot at 54, 55,000 into the middle of the week, into the end of the week, and then having a decent reversal. Looks like we are pulling back already. I don't think any panic flags should be thrown up yet, but it's not nice to see, a $2,000 drop over a short amount of time. Your thoughts on what happened in the last 12 hours?
Cool, yeah. Bear with me because nearly everybody right now is saying that there's lag on my side, but I'm going to run with this for just a minute and see if that continues because I think I fixed it. What I'm seeing here, do I need to share screen?
If you like to, I can hand it off to you.
That's going to kill my laptop, so I'm not going to do that. But Bitcoin is just has just kind of hit about 52.5, and I saw a little bit of resistance there, but for the most part, this dump was quite unexpected for me. The only thing that I think really indicated that this dump was coming was Bitcoin was in an ascending channel. And those of you who are watching on my channel, I'll draw this ascending channel for you right now. I was actually just talking about it in literally the last video. This is one of the things that I said we don't want to talk about, but that's precisely why we have to talk about it. So I definitely didn't expect the dump this big, and the rest of the market is getting hit pretty badly as a result of it as well. Cardano was one of the coins I was trading quite actively, and it's just absolutely shit the bed right here. So that's been fairly interesting. Everyone's saying it's good now, so that's great.
All right. Yeah, I don't know if you're doing a screen share for your audience because I don't see it. But yeah, so I just glanced at the hourly chart and I'm screen sharing on my end. And I remember what I said yesterday, where I really wanted to see a brand new 1 hour close, which we never actually got. And when we never got that brand new hourly high close, consolidated a little bit and then started to drop. But I'm now looking at the 1 hour scale, and I think the bottom is probably in. I really like this MRI buy. Remember, we did kind of top on an MRI sell, just exactly the same thing as what happened back here, back on September 5th. There was an MRI sell. We kind of consolidated. We did break out, but it couldn't hold. Then we broke out, and it did hold right into another MRI buy. Consolidated. Now we're dropping, and right into another MRI sell. My bad. And now we're on another. Now we're on an MRI buy, and let's see if we can at least rally into this moving average crossover on the 1 hour chart at 51,700, and then we can reevaluate whether this thing is going to keep going down. I am still somewhat bullish here until proven otherwise. And as long as Bitcoin stays above the breakout level of 49,500, I don't really see much to worry about. We got a little bit high on the daily chart versus the moving averages. We're going to have a golden crossover in about 5 days. So even a pullback into this golden cross is not a big deal at all. And the golden cross is at 46,000. I'm still somewhat overall bullish, but every passing day gets us closer to a true weekly MRI sell for a bigger pullback into this moving average cluster at 42. I mean, I kind of like this consolidation, and I think it sets us up nicely for $100,000 Bitcoin. Your view?
Yeah, I was just looking at this while you were talking about it. The ascending channel that Bitcoin is in, I do need to share my screen now, so let me try this.
All right, let me give it to you. There you go.
Yeah, let's see if this works. Bam, can you see this?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so I was just looking at this ascending channel that I was pointing out a few minutes ago and seeing how that lines up with your moving averages that you mentioned for the golden cross and the daily. We're very, very close to it, and that's absolutely great, but we'd have to dip a fair bit lower if we wanted to touch it, which we don't need to, but it would obviously be nice if we did. See, for me, the breakout point was always 51,000, not 49,500. And that's because of all these interactions along here. We've already dropped below this level, so we're not in great hands, according to that. And that has definitely got me a little bit concerned. But the good news with this whole trend that I've always been reiterating is that there's a lot of support here because we've just kind of been in this, standard textbook 45-degree angle upwards. We have so much support from moving averages, on the 4-hour, on the daily. It's absolutely phenomenal. In terms of where support is for Bitcoin, it just lines up at the bottom of this ascending channel. But I wouldn't want Bitcoin to go there. One of the things that you mentioned was, every day that we're kind of doing this, we're getting closer to a weekly MRI top. And for my viewers who don't really know what the MRI is, this is a time-based indicator, essentially saying that we can't be trending up in a straight line forever. There's got to be pullbacks when you've spent enough time moving in one direction. And this is already, I mean, if I were to just 1, 2, 3, 4, we're at 7 weeks of upward price action, with a few exceptions. So just in a vacuum, just looking at everything from the start here, to me, this does not look sustainable. And that is not something I would have said yesterday. But just seeing how Bitcoin is showing a little bit more weakness than what I would have liked, that's got me a bit concerned. And if we kind of look at the 55K level, which is what I was targeting for Bitcoin, again, the fact that we couldn't quite get there is, to me, a little bit concerning because I wasn't seeing a lot of resistance in this range. But apparently Bitcoin just didn't really have the strength to keep itself higher. And this is in the wake of bullish news. This is right when El Salvador makes Bitcoin legal tender as of, I think, today, announced that they're buying $20 million worth of Bitcoin as well. That in a bull market, that should be pretty big, but the market just doesn't seem to be responding to that. And I think a big part of that is, if we look at the volume, one of the prevailing things that I've seen in this trend for so long, pretty much since the breakout at 20K, is that the volume has been showing us that the market is just not as bullish as people think it is. It's just primarily when the price is rising that people are not selling. As soon as we get a little bit of selling pressure back in, it's disastrous for the market and we get big crashes like this. I'll pass it back to you.
All right. The bullish news, right? So this is one of those news, like we all knew this news was coming. It's not like it caught us by surprise. So this is one of those news events that's very likely to be, buy the rumor, sell the news. There was plenty of preparation for this, and a lot of people have been bullish this news for a while. So I'm not that surprised that the news itself didn't amount to much. It's kind of like, the launch of the ETF or the launch of the futures market. It's like, it's coming. So not much is actually going to be expected on that day. But yeah, I agree. And the big rise is already starting to slow down. And that's okay. This Bitcoin, I do like this consolidation, and I don't think this sell-off today is going to last for a long time, even though my weekly scale has been calling for a little bit of a pause in the market.
Yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned about the buy the rumor, sell the news thing. Where we already knew this was coming for quite a long time. With that, I wouldn't necessarily expect that Bitcoin would get a big pump, but I would certainly expect that would help protect Bitcoin from a dump like this. And to me, that's where I'm seeing a little bit of weakness, where that this is something to almost be celebrated, but it's being responded to with weakness. And someone in my comments has just mentioned the dollar is also trending upwards. This is something that I wanted to get your opinion on. Let's share screen again for just a second. What have I done? And I want to show everybody the dollar index, because this has been making a nice move upwards right here. And I think this is one of the primary forces acting on the market right now, resulting in these sell-offs. Do you have any opinions on the dollar, Tone?
Not really. I always said like when a dollar goes up, it does have an effect on some markets, especially say the gold market. But I never really felt that a dollar rise or fall affects the Bitcoin market all that much, because Bitcoin is just too speculative. The dollar, it doesn't have that kind of a direct correlated effect. The dollar goes up 1 or 2% or goes down 1 or 2%. The dollar moves very, very slow. And Bitcoin is just way too speculative. I don't see much of a cause and effect there. And the dollar did rise today. I don't think it amounts to all that much, personally. I think there is just a way more speculative effect going on with what's going on in Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's definitely quite a small market, so it's got that speculation. But what do you think about then tracing Bitcoin through the market cycles in 2017 to where the dollar was crashing and Bitcoin was massively making its run up, and how the big market phases generally coincide with the inverse of whatever the dollar is doing?
I have a feeling that if you really start comparing like an annual basis, what did the dollar do versus what Bitcoin did over the last 5 to 7 years, I think you're going to find it generally uncorrelated. Bitcoin went up in 2017 for speculative purposes. Bitcoin was going down in 2018. 2019 was kind of a flat year overall. It went up a lot, went down a lot, based on its own forces. I think when it comes down to it, the dollar and Bitcoin are generally uncorrelated. We've been in a bull market for over a year now, no matter how you slice it. And I think we'll continue to be in a bull market for at least another 6 months to a year, regardless of what the dollar does, whether the dollar goes up or down. And then depending on how high Bitcoin goes, with Bitcoin will probably have another bear market. And I'm looking at this hourly chart now. The hour is an MRI buy. We still have 45 minutes to go. And this candle went from being promising 5 minutes ago to dumping some more. But by dumping some more, it creates a more stable possibility that we're going to bottom out sometime this hour or next hour. And the more it dumps right here, the more likely, buyers will step up. Let me go back to my chart here. On a 1 hour scale, we do have the 200 period moving average that we've stayed above for a while. You can see us drop towards this moving average on September 2nd and rallied kind of hard without even touching it. We are not even as close to it again. So let's see what happens here. I do think that this is a pretty big drop in a very short amount of time. We just fell 5%, almost $3,000 in a matter of hours, since this was pretty much midnight. So in the last 12 hours, we just fell about $3,000. So
do you think this is standard profit taking or some other kind of selling?
I think it's probably just some profit taking and also a lot of stop losses just being crushed, right? Because it did look like it was going to break out further, especially with the big news day coming up. And people are just panicking, getting out of their bullish trades. And I do think that's on the verge of ending now that the United States is waking up.
And how do you think that relates to the funding rates? Because they were quite high. You mentioned stop losses being triggered. Funding rates were quite high over the past few days, and that's something I was looking at, which kind of upset me with my long trade. It's actually I had a long trade ready to buy Bitcoin at about 51,000, and I removed it just hours before this dump. And this was one of the reasons that I took into account for that.
No, I mean, I think this is great. I think this is going to reset us one more time. I mean, we've been steadily rising this whole time with the funding rates being negative. They just went positive for the tiniest amount. And look, where people are already panicking. So this will reset these funding rates, and it's going to set us up to go back to that 55,000 while everyone's worried again. I mean, this is kind of how market works. I don't mind this. I maintain my law. I mean, I trade on a slightly longer scale, so I don't have to worry about these day-to-day moves. Right now, we just eliminated the last 2 days of upside, and I think this can reverse very, very quickly, and also very, very soon. I'm pretty bullish here that where did the MRI go?
And just while you were talking about the MRI, if we were to look for the MRI to reset, I'm sorry, not the MRI, the funding rate to come back down towards being a little bit more closer to neutral. If that lines up with Bitcoin kind of falling down to 49.5, which was the support level that you were looking at, for you guys watching my stream, it's right over here. Do you think if we got the price falling down here, maybe we got some bullish signs on the MRI on the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin as well? Do you think that would be good enough to then set us up for the next big liftoff?
I do. I don't know what's going on with my charts right now. My 1-hour chart decided to stop working completely. That's weird. But sorry, say that again.
It's the overload, man. It's my laptop's suffering a lot as well, which is so surprising. It shouldn't be suffering at this price point that I paid.
No, I mean, like, I know, but I've never had this problem. I mean, this is how I normally stream. So I have no idea what that'll happen to my 1-hour chart. But I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah. So on the note of funding rates, then let me just pull this up for my viewers to see, because it wasn't very clear when I was showing your screen. The funding rates were Tom, were you looking at the 1-hour funding rates? No, it was the daily, wasn't it? Yeah. So funding rates here on the daily started to move up a little bit, favoring the bears. And Tone was mentioning that if we get a little bit of a drop here, that can continue to reset this, bring it closer to neutral. And my question to you was, if we're looking at that $49,500 support level, if Bitcoin were to fall down there and we started to get some MRI reversal signs on the 4-hour as well, coinciding with that neutral funding rate and Bitcoin at 49.5, do you think that would be enough to set the market to blow off?
Not really. Like, the market has been somewhat, I know we rallied quite a bit off of 30,000 to 50,000, but 30,000 was a pretty deep drawdown off of that monster long consolidation in the 60s. So at the time, when we were consolidating in the 60s, I felt that going all the way down to 30 was going to be a bit of a stretch. It was more bullish than that. Now, once we got to 30, of course, the chart did not look very strong. So I was expecting 25 before the big rally. We rallied off of 30. But I don't think so. I think overall, 2020 has not been a crazy bullish year relative to how much pain Bitcoin hodlers had suffered throughout 2018 and 2019, with a major low coming in early 2020. So here in 2021, like, it hasn't been that much of a bull market. Yeah, we went up early in late 2020. We went up quite a bit, but right now, 2021 has basically been a flat year. We started 2021 at about 40,000, and now we're sitting here at 50,000. So Bitcoin is up, what, 15% for the year 2021, which is a post-halving year. I mean, that's nothing. So overall, I don't think Bitcoin is that far up. I know mining a single Bitcoin is still relatively cheap, so there's plenty of room there. The moving averages are about to cross. I think Bitcoin is still setting up for a big upswing in this bull market. So I'm not expecting a big drawdown. Maybe back down to 42, maybe to where it started the year before the big liftoff. But I am not anticipating a big drop. And I know there's a lot of people watching our streams that are still, praying for that $20,000 Bitcoin. They're still anticipating a $20,000 Bitcoin. And Willie Woo is going to come on my show on Thursday. Hope he still does with this little drop here. And I mean, he's fairly bullish fundamentally. And I kind of trust his analysis on fundamentals that there's not much Bitcoin to go around. And it's about to take off.
Yeah, it's interesting what you mentioned about a lot of the pain this year not resulting in big moves up. Do you think that then means that we just haven't seen a big lift off yet, and that's coming, and because we're waiting so long, it could be even more intense?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the longer we consolidate here, and the more frustrating people get with these moves, it's on the verge of breaking out and then it pulls back. It's on the verge of breaking out and then it pulls back. That's what it's basically been doing the whole time over the last month or two. This entire back end of the summer here has been this way. And people just get more and more frustrated, and that's how they miss the rally.
And that's when you start getting, the weak hands, so to speak, selling off, giving it to the stronger hands, and then you've washed out the emotional sellers as well. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, pretty much. And also, I'm going to go back to screen share. Just like the MRI is coming in on a weekly price scale saying Bitcoin might pull back, the MRI hit a buy opportunity in Bitcoin versus shitcoin. And as you mentioned earlier, Cardano, I do have the chart of it up. And Cardano was looking like a nice breakout from a TA perspective. But this is one of the reasons why I really don't like even using TA on shitcoins, other than maybe Ethereum and maybe Litecoin, only because they're fairly liquid. Other than that, it's like anything can happen. I mean, these things are being programmed by kids. They're children that don't understand decentralization at all. You gotta know Charles Hoskinson is a math PhD, but Cardano is actually the opposite. Instead of programmed by children, Cardano is being programmed in a language that no normal human being is meant to program it in, because it's unreadable code of Haskell, which is like the most complicated code base created. So it's like back when I was, I remember back when I was studying geology, one of the guys in my program, older guy, and he was like, and all our exams were, there weren't multiple choice. All our exams were, you have to like write out explanations to geological formations. And he used to say, well, you can dazzle them with brilliance or baffle them with bullshit, which means you can answer this question in 2 sentences, or you can answer this question in 3 pages worth of writing. And Cardano is the 300 to 300 pages worth of writing, where a couple of sentences would probably suffice. So it's dazzle them with brilliance or baffle them with bullshit. And baffle them with bullshit will eventually create releases that completely flop.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what's happened with Cardano, resulting in this price dip. Is there was a very highly anticipated upgrade, which I don't know the technical details of, but it turned out to completely fail, and that's what's resulting in this big dump. And so what we were talking about before the stream, when we bring it back to price action, was it looked really good technically in the lead up to this upgrade. The Alonso upgrade is what it's called. It looked great in the lead up, but then when it failed, this is the same thing as you're going long on a stock, on a company, and then they release their earnings reports and it's not as impressive as you thought. This is essentially the crypto equivalent of that, and that's one of the reasons it's dropping. And you were mentioning that's kind of why you're not applying TA to these smaller coins. And by the way, I love that you call them shit coins in your watch list. I'm gonna do that. But that's what makes it quite unpredictable to trade it. And one thing that I know my viewers are going to be very interested in is you mentioned again before the stream that you do still apply these technicals to smaller coins like Ethereum and Litecoin. Litecoin's kind of fallen off. No one talks about that anymore. But what makes you feel like Ethereum is worth looking at?
It's not, but at least it has like, some volume, relatively speaking. It's the same reason why back in the day when I was trading stocks, I would stick to the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500, and I wouldn't mess with penny stocks because it just wasn't my wheelhouse. It wasn't. I like trading the TA side of. I like trading the TA side of the market, and I just need things that I don't have to worry about from a fundamental perspective. And it's also kind of known, for trading Tesla, sure, it's got its fundamental news events as well, but at least the stock is fairly stable and you can use technical analysis on it. Just going back to Cardano, only because it's an interesting chart. This candle here, this breakout candle with a green star on it, would have gotten me bullish. Let's say I didn't know what this asset was. If I don't know what the asset is, I can still analyze it blindly with TA. And this green star would have certainly gotten me bullish. But guess what? This red star would have gotten me out of that trade. So had I gotten long here, I would have taken my stop loss there, and I would have avoided the current the last 2 days of the big drop. So that would have been my stop loss. Also, you can see the M right here, which means that Cardano has been on a pretty damn big run, and it was coming up on its monthly MRI top. And you can see how the monthly MRI buy did fairly well after a few more months of consolidation. Same thing here. And here it comes on the sell side. But again, the more illiquid the asset, the less I pay attention to the technicals and the more I just stay away from it in general.
We're getting a pretty strong warning sign here then on the monthly MRI. That lines up with, what was it, the daily MRI on Bitcoin's dominance.
Right.
That kind of points towards, if Bitcoin is going to have a price explosion, it could just leave everything in the dust.
Right. And I just decided to look at other like shitcoins. Like here's Ethereum on the US dollar version. And you can see it's also on an MRI top versus the dollar. What about Bitcoin? Yep, and there it is, right? So lots of Ethereum monthly chart versus Bitcoin is also on an MRI monthly top. Curious where it is on a weekly scale. On a weekly scale still has a little bit of room. Yeah, but tokens like Monero and Litecoin, I mean, I haven't heard anything about them in a while because they're not interesting anymore. It's a lot of this stuff. It's like when Giacomo likes to call proof of news. As long as these coins remain discussed, as long as they remain talked about, they remain relevant. Once no one is talking about them, that's it, because they never really had anything fundamental there. It's all hype. It's all news. That's all it really is. Let me go back to the Bitcoin. I would love to pull up my 1 hour chart, and it's just not working. Hold on. I'm going to close this. I'm trying to open it from scratch. I don't know what's going on.
It's just dipped below 50 and set a low close to the 49.5 level.
Let me see if it opens from scratch. It did. Maybe. Oh, the chart ain't loading. I don't know what's going on, but that's okay. So, yeah, so we'll have to infer the 1 hour chart from the daily chart.
Do you want me to show the 1 hour chart? I can pull up the MRI as well.
Yeah, that's great. Do that.
And guys, while we're loading this up, let's smash up the likes as well. Got 900 on this stream. Let's pump them up a little bit. Do the same for Tone as well. Here's the 1 hour, and I'll remove this ascending channel for now.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm trying to pay attention to my live chat a little bit. I know people get a little bit confused, and I just want to make something clear. Guys, just because I don't recommend following other people's trades doesn't mean that that is a scammy practice. It is not. This is basically, you can give your money to a hedge fund and let them manage it for you, even though the statistics are 90% of hedge funds will go bust. But you're welcome to do it. I mean, that's a legal practice. There's many traders out there that provide trading signals. As long as they're providing signals, like if you give your money to a trading signal thing that is actually a Ponzi scheme that isn't trading, that's a scam. But if you are involved or a part of some kind of a system, whether it's a bot system, whether it's a human trading system of trading for you, or you mimicking other people's trades, that is not a scam. But choose wisely, because most of them will lose money, just like the majority of traders lose money. That there's a difference. Like shit coins are scammy. If you created your own currency, that's a scam. But for the same reason why derivatives exchanges, they're not scammy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with leverage. You just have to choose wisely and know what you're doing. But there's nothing inherently wrong with a 20x trade or a 100x trade. It's just not advisable. But there's nothing scammy about a 100x trade. If you want to do it, do it. Oil trades at 100x leverage. So is silver. Like these are normal, traditional practices as well. All right. Now that I said my disclaimer, let's look at the chart.
Can you see this?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I really do think that we should bottom right here on this hour. I mean, I am going to trust the MRI here as well. Sometime this hour, I'm expecting a little bit of a low with some bounce. We'll see if this low lasts for the rest of the day, or only lasts for like 20 minutes. But right now, I mean, I do think we've fallen too fast in a short amount of time that we can rally here.
To me, that quick sell-off is exactly what's concerning. But I mean, we are at support right now, horizontal support. So I'm just going to take this off now. Yeah, I mean, we failed the level I was looking at 51. Those of you who are watching my channel, you'll know that my next area of support is quite low. And it is, I mean, there's a lot of support in between. I was just looking at this while you were talking, Tom. There's great, like as I said towards the beginning of the stream, there's great moving average support as well. But I'm actually not as optimistic as you are. What do you think about the 4-hour time frame with the MRI though? Because this to me could be
put that on?
a little bit more special.
Yeah, this looks like it has a lot more downside here in the short term. But let's see what the hourly does. Let's see if the hourly can reverse us. I'm fairly still bullish here. But then again, it's the weekly. It's the weekly MRI top that scares me. The weekly gave us a warning, and the top's coming next week unless this week completely shits the bed. So
it would be nice if we can get a rally up to that 55K resistance area before the end of next week. Maybe a little pullback now is what gives us the fuel to make that final push up, and then we finally get a nice long retracement. You know, that hurts a little bit. But
the thing is, if we fall any more and spend any longer time, like for example, if what's today? Today's Tuesday. If say by Friday we had fallen down to 48 and we're now pushing 51, I'm going to expect it to keep going higher, and I'm no longer going to expect the MRI top to do anything. It would have like played its course. So we either need to reverse immediately and go to 55 like this week, or the MRI top is already played out, right? Then I would be expecting consolidation, and then I'll be even more bullish into the 60s.
So with this weekly MRI top, are you seeing that we just have a small 1 to 4 candle correction? You know, maybe like just 1 week of pulling back, maybe coming off this.
Well, that's what I would be expecting if we did not fall so hard today. If we would have spent most of this week above 52 and made it to that 55 into the end of the week or early next week, then I would have been expecting a 1 to 4 weekly correction. But now, because of this fall, and right now we still have time. We still have time to, we can still close about 52,000 by end of day. And if that happens, then everything I just said is still on track. But if we stay down here at $50,000, and we're about to break below 50, if we stay like below 50 for the next 48 hours, then it gets a little bit strange. Then it's something like that, and then a breakout all the way to 60 where 55 means nothing.
Okay.
Now, that would be the better scenario for the stability going into the future, and it avoids a monster pullback from 55 down to 40, down to 45. Right. But it also doesn't give me a perfect timing with my MRI, because I was hoping to time it at 55 later this week, where the daily and the weekly both coincide. And in order for that to happen, we need to immediately reverse to the upside, which I do think is still possible off of this hourly buy right now. I'm still slightly leaning to this big drop being over any minute now.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on this towards the end of the day. I think if I saw Bitcoin fall back below 50 and stay below 50, this would look a lot like a fake out, a failed breakout. And I would actually then start thinking that, see, I was looking at the I don't know if you look at the fear and greed index, but I do, and I think it's interesting to
it should have had some high number on the greed side.
Super high, yeah, 79 right now. Well, this is yesterday's reading, but it's been high for a long time, and so for me, if we fell back into this range and stayed there, I would actually start thinking we're gonna be like that. That's gonna, I think, give the market a little bit of time for panic to set in, because we've had our chance and we didn't take it. I think a lot of people would start to kind of lose faith in this breakout, and yeah, could potentially lead to a little bit of a drop. I think it's pushing it and quite optimistic that we hit targets like 55 or 60 before the end of next week with that MRI top, if we end up staying down here. But of course, yeah, if we got that pump, now, then none of this would matter, and actually this would be very bullish for the market.
Right, but that range, that yellow range that you have on there that you just expanded, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I am very confident we're staying there. I don't think we're gonna go below 45, and that's the important part. I'm still fully bullish here. Whether we break out to 55,000 this week, whether we drop into the high 40s, whether we're stuck there all of September. I mean, when we say this was a fake breakout, maybe, but it's not like a fake breakout that then causes a huge reversal going down into the 30s. I just don't see that. I remain very bullish here. And if it doesn't break out to 55 this week, then it'll break out to 55 the first week of October, and probably way more than 55 the first week of October if we get stuck under 50, between 45 and 50 for the next 3 weeks. I'm just like very, very bullish here, whether it's continues to consolidate until people get too frustrated, or just goes up there and then pulls back. Either way, I find it hard to believe that 45, maybe 42 is going to break this year to the downside.
Yeah, no, I don't think we'll get below. I definitely don't think we're going below 42 at any point soon. But for me, in the kind of trading that I'm sorry, can you still see me on the Zoom?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. For me with the breakout, I'm sorry, if Bitcoin were to fall all the way down to 42, obviously my trading is a lot more aggressive than yours. That would be a big drop. And by the way, it would be like the best buying opportunity, I think, this side of the year. If we got something like that, kind of falling down to the bottom of these support ranges. I always take a look at the Ichimoku cloud. I don't know if you give much merit to this, but this is starting to show a little bit of support right here in the middle of October on the daily time frame right now. So if we did kind of slowly bleed into this level towards the low 40s, that would work out very nicely. But with all of these ideas and what you said about towards the beginning of the stream, that Bitcoin actually hasn't had a real huge bull market after the halving this year, that's got me thinking about could we really be looking at a kind of a boring end of this year and an absolutely explosive 2022, especially the first half of it? Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, that is very, very possible. And a lot of the stuff happening in geopolitics will have lots to do with this.
How do you think the geopolitics is affecting the price here?
Well, again, right now, people are still not able to move around the world at all. We're watching what's happening in Australia. We're watching what's happening in Canada. I know a lot of people getting out of Canada because they can. I know a lot of people that would love to get out of Australia, but they can't. And let's see what happens. Let's see if the population in those countries, actually has a serious clash with the authorities. And the way that goes, I mean, capital needs to get around. I mean, Bitcoin's biggest use case is still unconfiscatability. And the government continues to print because most governments are still shut down. I have no idea how Southeast Asia is surviving because it's a tourism-based economy. No one has gone to Thailand. No one has gone to Indonesia. What's going to happen with the currencies in those countries? And I know everyone talks about the U.S. At least half of the U.S. is going to work. I have no idea what Southeast Asia is doing. I mean, their economies are tourism-based, and there's zero tourism. So I have no idea what's going to happen in Europe. Lots of blackouts against protests versus the vaccination passports. I mean, eventually this stuff is going to show up in the economy besides a little bit of inflation. And when it does, I mean, this benefits Bitcoin greatly. So we'll see what happens. And governments are escalating the central bank digital currencies real quick. And they have to, because they know that their fiat currency can collapse. And the way it collapses is people run to the bank to withdraw fiat money. That is what they're trying to avoid. The entire drive behind central bank digital currency is to prevent a run on the bank. A run on the bank is literally defined as people running to the bank to withdraw money out of the bank into cash. If there is no cash, then there is no such thing as a run on the bank. I mean, the concept of a run on the bank cannot exist in a cashless society. And that is the goal. The goal is to eliminate cash to prevent a run on the bank. But they forgot about Bitcoin, or they're ignoring Bitcoin, because a run on a bank is literally I'm buying Bitcoin with whatever value I can get together. I mean, these things have still not affected Bitcoin. And these are the kinds of drivers that can send Bitcoin tenfold in a matter of months.
So I actually have a question on this, because I wanted to get your thoughts on the El Salvador news. There's two camps of people here with this news. The first camp is people who say this is absolutely amazing and this is the best thing ever. And the second camp is, hang on a minute, this is against Bitcoin's philosophy. And I think one of the reasons people think that it's against the philosophy of Bitcoin is is there's a lot of like social security numbers, but the El Salvadorian equivalent of that you need in order to like kind of use Bitcoin in their system, from my understanding of it, from very brief reading. Do you think that, because one of the ideas I always have with these things is, there is the vision of what we think is going to happen, and then there's reality, which is kind of close but always a compromise, and that's firmly where I see Bitcoin, and has been where I've seen Bitcoin for a long time, where I've even gone outright and said that I think a lot of people are talking about a dump right now, but I've even gone outright and said that I think oh yeah, Bitcoin's down at 49K. Take a look at this.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, well,
it's a capitulation short-term drop. I mean, the hour is not yet over. So, like I said, while it looked like in the beginning of the hour, it could be over. Like the hour got very bad, and now it just adds to the probability that this capitulation is going to end, because just like things can only go up for so long before they have to reverse to the mean, same thing with a big drop. So I'm still, on record that this big drop is going to end sometime this hour or next hour. And this hour still has 11 minutes to go.
Yeah, 10 minutes to that close, we could see a lot of volatility towards the end of this close, because look at this volume spike. This is huge. Guys, take a look at this. I hate how TradingView makes it so hard to see this, but look at how big that's gone. That's just eclipsed all of the volume from all of our trading going back to the beginning of August. I can't see your
chart, and for some crazy reason, I can't pull up my hourly chart.
Here you go. Let me show this. The volume right here. This is the highest volume we've seen for quite. I mean, a lot of people are basically interested in this. Is what this is telling me. It would make for a great buy opportunity. I'm just really the one thing that has definitely caught me off guard is how big this sell-off has been at 52.5, because there was no real resistance I saw there other than the ascending channel.
No, I mean the buying just got exhausted. Wow, we just dropped to 48.6.
Yeah.
Can you flip to a low level time frame? Can we just do maybe 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Throw the MRI on that. And maybe zoom in a little bit. Or zoom in a lot.
There's a lot of numbers here. Should I hide some of these? Oh, there's a buy right here on the 10-minute. Or a reversal. You seeing this?
Yep. Yeah, let's see if it's over. Let's see if the drop's over.
So yeah, just while we're waiting for this, then, do you have an opinion on how El Salvador is implementing their whole?
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Anyone that, well, when people say like this goes against Bitcoin, they're just opinions, right? Bitcoin, it's kind of like, hey, it goes against the internet to spy on people using the internet. Yeah, you just got to try to use better tools, and we need more ethical people running companies. So my view is this. Look, we all want Bitcoin to be this private, unstoppable medium of exchange and also store of value. Store of value obviously being more important than just a medium of exchange. But, any use of Bitcoin is better, because at the end of the day, at least the government can't print Bitcoin, right? So a government using, like El Salvador, using the US dollar is probably already an advantage than El Salvador using their own currency, because their own politicians can just wreak havoc and print their own currency for their own personal use. At least by using the dollar, they are less corrupt because they can't print the dollar for their own personal use. So using Bitcoin in whatever form, is still an advantage. And while, yes, the government can certainly spy on its citizens' use of Bitcoin, if every citizen of that country is using Bitcoin through a government institution that is spying on your Bitcoin transactions, at least they can't inflate Bitcoin. So there is some advantage there. So, and a person does have the ability to use Bitcoin on their own. So as long as El Salvador is allowing people to use Bitcoin in any way they like, where people have the option of using it through, say, a coin join, through a join market, give themselves privacy, use their own node, validate their own transactions, El Salvador is contributing more positively to Bitcoin than negatively. El Salvador just opening it up to Bitcoin and making sure no one is a criminal for using Bitcoin just for using Bitcoin is a positive to Bitcoin. Would I have rather seen El Salvador move their government treasury into Bitcoin instead of, you know, kind of forcing this issue of making Bitcoin legal tender? The answer is yes. I just thought of more important. They could have, you know, allowed people, they didn't have to make Bitcoin legal tender. You don't have to force everyone to use Bitcoin. They could have also waited another year until Lightning was more robust and more popular and more user-friendly. And El Salvador could have just done what MicroStrategies did and could have been a really rich country in a year or two, just like MicroStrategies is now a very rich company. So they could have just done that. They didn't have to force the issue this quickly, but they did. And this is the beauty of Bitcoin. No one can stop you from doing anything. What is that top right there? What time frame are we looking at? Daily?
This is the daily, and this is just move your face. This is the total crypto dominance. I'm sorry, market cap. One of my viewers pointed this out.
Okay, yeah. So there was a daily top on. No, I didn't even know that. So there is an MRI top on the overall market cap. So that's interesting that we took a little bit of a hit.
Yeah, and this is a big hit. I mean, in one day, I mean, it's already down 12%, 15% to the low. What is Bitcoin down by today? Bitcoin's only down by 7%. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of those losses. I mean, Ethereum's down to 3,500. I don't know how much longer I've got because my camera for your stream is going to die. But I want to ask you two key questions, which I think a lot of people, and they're very extreme. So first of all, no one's going to hold you to this, and if they do, they're super immature and their opinions don't count. But two questions. Number one, what is your worst bear case for Bitcoin and your best bull case for Bitcoin? And let's start with the bear case.
Man, my worst bear case, I don't really see a big bear case right now. I mean, it's Bitcoin's time for a bull market. Trying to think what it could be. Other than, you know, it's very cheap to mine a Bitcoin. That's my biggest concern right now.
Do you know the price? How much it is to mine a Bitcoin?
My best guess, $6,000 to $8,000 to mine a Bitcoin.
Okay, so it's not moved for a long time then.
No. There hasn't been that much hash power being added. Remember the whole thing in China?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Bitcoin's got plenty of downside before the mining, you know, before mining becomes a problem. Like, so it's, and my other bear case for Bitcoin, the whole China thing, I did not like the miners moving out of China. China made it very, very easy to show the world how easy it is to get miners out of your country. And that is a big bear case for Bitcoin, where, you know, the crazy ESG people, the environmentalists in Europe and the US could just come down on making mining illegal just like China did. And all of a sudden, the hash rate drops significantly again, this time even more than last time. And also, that was the other big bear case. That's my bear case. My bear case is that Bitcoin can certainly be attacked by the governments by attacking the mining structure. China showed how easy it is. That still scares me a little bit. That's my bear case.
For those that don't know, a lot of people will make an argument that a real price of Bitcoin is the price that you mine it at. And that is a very contentious statement. A lot of people will argue over it, but it's one piece of the pie that you can have to give yourself an idea of how much a Bitcoin could be worth. And for that, if we had to put a price, could we say that a floor is going to be around? This is super bearish. No one's going to hold anyone to this. Could we say it would be around like 8, 10K if all governments in the world started to say, look, this is not good for the environment and we need to stamp it out?
Yeah, yeah. Though by the time it gets down there, it'll probably be closer to 20.
Okay. Yeah, if we could get down to, and you mentioned in this stream that a lot of your viewers, I hope a lot of my viewers too, because that's opportunistic. It's frowned upon in this space, being excited over a 20K price tag for Bitcoin. But to me, I mean, that's where I publicly said I would sell my house and buy Bitcoin. I probably wouldn't actually do that, but that would be very exciting, and it's good to entertain these ideas. The key reason that I always like to bring these things up is, while they're super unlikely, not knowing what can happen, or worse, not being prepared, is not an excuse. And that's the job of any trader with their due diligence, any investor even, to just know what the possibilities are and be mentally prepared for them. And so what's your best bull case for Bitcoin then?
Oh, it's huge. It's everything I described with geopolitics. A country eliminating cash, the breakup of the eurozone. Those are my bullish cases for Bitcoin. Just people recognizing that Bitcoin is the only unconfiscatable asset there is. That's always been my big bullish case, and this has not happened yet. I mean, the Cyprus situation back in 2013, the Greek banking crisis back in 2015. We have not had repeats of that. I mean, we've had repeats of that in like Lebanon and some of right now with Afghanistan, but it's not Cyprus and it's not Greece. It's not a major Western power. Like, imagine Canada, man. Like, imagine like Trudeau in Canada going full communist and saying, hey, you Canadians, I'm tired of you. You guys are not even allowing my bus to move through. So we're going to shut down the banks, and you're only allowed to withdraw 60 Canadian dollars a day. That's basically what Greece did. So imagine if Canada does that. I mean, that's going to send Bitcoin through the roof. Australia, same thing. I mean, if those governments get frustrated with their population not listening to their vaccine mandates, they can shut them off from the money. And I'm waiting for that, actually. I'm waiting for Canada or Australia to do what Greece and Cyprus did back in 2013, 2015, respectively.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That two questions have come up from my head there. First one is I want to give a price for everyone interested, and second is the discussion of profiting off human tragedy. That one is very important, and nobody likes to talk about it. But a lot of the gains in Bitcoin, they're coming because the rest of the world is so fucked up. And don't get me wrong, I love making profit on Bitcoin as much as the next guy. But there is a moral discussion to be had. Not to say that, well, I mean, action should be taken off it, but that's not the point of it. It's just to cover all bases. But before we get there, and you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, if we had to aggregate all of these factors that are mainly political, which is obviously Bitcoin is a political statement as well. I mean, obviously that's going to probably send us above $100,000. But do you have any set numbers with technicals that you've arrived to, or does it not really matter to you?
No, it doesn't really matter at that point. I mean, those were the drivers that like got me interested in Bitcoin. It was the Cyprus event in 2013 that drove the price of Bitcoin from about $20 all the way to $200. It was a 10x move in a month and a half because of the Cyprus events. That was March, April 2013, and the Greek banking shutdown happened at the end of the bear market. That certainly helped drive Bitcoin out of that bear market of 2015.
Okay, yeah. So Cyprus is a territory which a lot of money in Europe kind of goes to, and they had their crisis, and that resulted in a 10x. If we saw something like, I'm not going to put these words in your mouth now, I'm just saying this off the top of my head. If we got something similar like that happening in a major European country, like say Germany, because they have their fair share of banking issues, we could be looking at perhaps a bigger than 10x move for Bitcoin, which is going to put us at like 500K, $500,000, which is a very exciting price prediction, which you guys can enjoy with your lotion after this live stream. And I wanna ask you about that profiting of human tragedy thing as well. Do you think that the people who are not wealthy right now have a chance at wealth because of this? Like the little guy gets helped, or do you think this is going to be a case where the little guy doesn't really have a chance because there's too many needs that are more upfront in their face, you know, like food and water, that they can't really think about. I need a unconfiscatable currency.
It's a good point, but again, we are talking about we're not talking about developing nations here. We are talking about nations that are considered developed, and
Okay.
there's middle class in those nations, and you want to protect your wealth. You're not necessarily profiting off of human tragedy. Those that are doing that, look, as much as I don't like the shitcoins, the crypto space in general has created a ridiculous amount of millionaires. And this is what really scares the status quo people, is that there is a big wealth transfer going on right now from the traditional makers of that wealth into the crypto people. Now, a lot of those crypto people that have gotten wealthy are straight up scammers. But even as straight up scammers, they're way less tyrannical and way less authoritarian than the current wealthy people. So I will take that. I would prefer that future. You know, like like the Winklevi being wealthy is significantly better for the world than Zuckerberg being wealthy, because Zuckerberg wants to spy on you and he wants to hold you back. Now, that's not how I see the current crypto side. While I certainly disagree with them and a lot of them are scammers, they're a lot more freedom oriented than the current wealthy. And this is a good thing. So for all the people that might get rich on the human suffering caused by tyranny of governments and their control, those are going to be the people that are building back better, because it will actually be better, because these are going to be the people building back without the same view on total control over other humans.
That is a very interesting discussion. Yeah, I was just thinking about, I mean, if the current powerful people lost their power, that is going to create a power vacuum though. And what you're saying there is essentially these immature but rich people are going to get that power. I think that is not a discussion for this live stream. That's going to turn into many hours.
Yeah.
But that is definitely very interesting. Are there any final thoughts on the technicals you want to give? I'm just going to flip back to them and see if
Dude, we're continuing to drop right now, and we're down to 47 and a half. I wish I could turn on a low level time frame, but I kind of can't.
Here you go.
So I'm kind of stuck. Oh wait, I think we both try to turn on screen share at the same time. Go for it.
Okay. Go on the 10-minute, yeah?
That's the 10-minute, right?
No, this is the 1 hour. Here's the 10-minute.
Right. So the 10-minute was starting to reverse in the last 10 minutes. We now dropped further. Well, the hour's over, you know, so let's see. Let's see if this new hour that's 6 minutes in is going to finally, I mean, I wouldn't panic. I don't panic. I'm still long in this market. I'm not going to panic yet. I don't like to panic. This is why I don't trade high leverage. I mean, my days of trading high leverage and panicking are long behind me.
Look at that, $1,000 down since we flipped back to the chart. Yeah, there's no room for panicking, guys. It's going to cost you a lot more than just fucking up a position. It's also going to, you know, you're going to snowball bad decision making. And look at this. We haven't seen a sell-off like this for a while. This is what gets your blood pumping.
I know.
This is fun.
I mean, I don't really have an explanation for this right now. Haven't really been checking Twitter. That's a big drop off.
Yeah, there must be some news or something that's fueling this. Not that it matters, but
It all gonna depend on where we close the day. Right now, we're going below the 200-day moving average. I believe we will hold this moving average at end of day. It depends how much we rebound. I'll tell you what will make me bullish if we rebound and close all the way above 49K today. And that is very possible because remember, we started the day at almost 53,000 and we're now almost to 45,000. And this is going to get all of those Bitcoin haters, the no coiners, the traditional finance guys, it's going to get them all riled up saying that, oh, you see how volatile Bitcoin is. Well, yeah, it's volatile. We all knew that. And this thing is just cratering.
It's just testing the 50-day moving average now. So, yeah, I think if this does recover in some way today, it's going to be the best thing ever. But I'm only seeing, considering how big this is, I'm seeing potentially like a bear flag developing a bit like this, and then maybe a further drop lower. I mean, I've greatly exaggerated what this would look like, but I can't be optimistic here, unfortunately. It's because it's just lost the moving average support that I was talking about as well, the daily EMA. This was the biggest support that I saw for Bitcoin.
Yeah, but that's a daily EMA, and it needs to close down here.
Yeah.
And I know it always looks like it's going to get worse and worse and worse, but there's going to be, like eventually the short sellers are going to take their profit.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah. And it would make sense if they take profit at some of the key support levels. I mean, we're already at 43. I think the next key support is about 42,000 right here. This was the previous.
We got 1,100 viewers watching us right now, and I can tell you guys, I don't have much to tell you right now, other than I hope you're not in any trades that are leveraged right now, one way or another, and you just wait and see.
Yeah, this is not the time to be trading. If you're trading now, that's the hallmark of desperation, I think, and that's going to get you completely screwed. This is where you watch, you sit quietly, and you look at.
I mean, Bitcoin is about to start moving like thousands of dollars every 5 minutes in both directions.
Look at that, up to 46.
Yeah.
It can't. The trading view is not updating fast enough for these fluctuations.
Oh, probably not, because I'm looking at the index on my side right now. I know you're screen sharing because I can't seem to share a low level time frame.
I would for my viewers wondering what I'm going to be doing here. If I hadn't already been taking profits on Bitcoin towards 50, 60K in the previous like upward trend, I would probably hope for a rising wedge that looks a little bit like this up towards 47, and I would start offloading it at 47. Not to leave my position, but just to take profits on some long term, to potentially buy back a little bit lower. That's kind of my take at the moment. That's if we get, a kind of an upward sloping, kind of rising wedge that's going to start hitting some resistance. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, the best thing that I mean, this is the kind of price action that I just wish I could sleep through, because then I don't have any potential to do anything irrational.
Right.
Everyone's asking what's happening.
We have no idea.
And guys, for those of you just tuning in, because this live stream is shot up with viewers, I'm live here with Tone Vays today. Here's his forehead.
Yeah,
and,
my bad.
And
I'm looking at my chart on the other monitor.
If you just tuned in, I would actually recommend that you rewind the live stream, because we were talking about some pretty big ideas. What we said at the beginning of the live stream is still valid now. So please go back and watch it there. It's also going to stop you from panicking, and that's going to help you out as well.
Yeah, I mean, what I said 30 minutes ago on this live stream, that I expected the bottom to come in over the next hour. I mean, I'm even more convinced now because we've fallen so much in the next hour. Like, I don't believe that things go down forever or up forever. And we're now back above 46,000. We pierced both moving averages, and now we're on a daily scale, and now we're back above them, meaning the 50 and the 200, the two traditional, moving averages. Then we can close this day above 49. I'm going to consider this to be completely over. Like,
that would be a massive
right.
bullish hammer if we closed like that. We've just come up to over an hour as well, guys. So if you are enjoying this live stream, you know what to do. Show it some love. Let the algorithm promote it a little bit. Smash up the like, subscribe if you're new to the channel.
I mean, there was also a question on like how much, like the CME gaps. I really couldn't care less about the CME gaps.
It's worth looking at, because it's what other people are interested in. So it's interesting. Let's see where that. Is there a particular gap you're talking about?
No, because they're everywhere, and 90% of them never close. I don't know why people think they all close.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me for my opinions on the CME gap, and I do pay attention to them because a lot of other people do, but my opinion leans towards it's almost like predicting the direction of the wind. If we close a CME gap, where I mean, the wind is not a great analogy, but it's basically, what I'm trying to say is it can go in either direction and it wouldn't really mean anything.
Now the stock market is also down. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You looking at the S&P 500?
Yeah. Gold is also down. It's just everything is down.
The dollar has continued to move up over this past hour or two. I'm actually of the opinion that there is an inverse correlation with the dollar and crypto. And I mean, it's hardly an opinion. I mean,
let me grab screen share. I want to show something.
Yeah, you got it.
So this is GBTC. Notice how the funding rate has spiked to the upside. Now it's still down 10% on the not funding rate, sorry, the premium, GBTC premium. It's still down 10%, but it's better than down 15% as it was, on Friday. Now the price of GBTC is down, but what this says is by the premium going up 5%, is that there was obviously lots of volume going on. I don't have a volume chart on this. So people are buying and selling GBTC, and there's more people buying GBTC than selling GBTC, because that's the only thing that would cause this premium to go positive. And it's right now it's positive 11%, sorry, negative 11%, but it's still better than it was the other day. And I'm really waiting.
Aren't familiar with GBTC. Can you just quickly give an explanation for what it is?
Sure. So GBTC is the tradable version of Bitcoin for those that want to trade on traditional American stock markets. So, for example, myself that likes to trade in a tax-exempt Roth IRA, GBTC is my best bet, where I basically get exposure to Bitcoin. The problem with GBTC is that it is not an ETF, in that they can't adjust it at will to make it equivalent to the price of Bitcoin. They have to depend on GBTC shares available for trading. And the way those shares become available for trading is people that buy into the Grayscale Trust have a 6-month lockup period. And then in order for them to exit those positions, they create GBTC shares from their trust shares in order to exit and take the cash. And throughout history of GBTC, there was not enough GBTC to go around. So it was always being sold at a premium until enough companies and people started taking advantage of selling the GBTC at a premium, and this is what helped drive the bull market in 2020 when they were just when Grayscale was buying up twice the available mine supply of Bitcoin. And now there's been too many GBTC shares on the market, causing a negative premium. But I'm waiting for that GBTC shares to kind of dry up so that enough people have bought into GBTC and take that premium back to zero. And then Grayscale will start buying up Bitcoin from the miners again. And this shows that there has been some demand for GBTC shares today because the premium went less negative than it was yesterday. So that's a slight positive sign. Let me go back to the daily chart. The daily chart's creeping back up to 47. Let's see where this ends. It's a very crazy day. Very crazy day.
When's the last time we saw? I mean, the last time we saw a dump like this was when we were heading towards 30K, I think. Oh, no, it would have been around June.
Yeah, right here. These in June, these 2 days in June were pretty nasty. So that was June 21, June 22. But I'm pretty sure today reminds people of some of these days, like May 19th. And of course, you have to go all the way back to the COVID stuff of March.
That was bad.
2020, when we had that big catastrophe of going from 8,000 down to 3,000, 3.8.
You see the that June candle that you just highlighted. You said there were 2 bad days. Yeah, the second candle there with the C extension, that's a bullish hammer. Do you think
that is a bullish hammer? But at the time when it's crashing down here, everything looks horrible.
Yeah. Do you think we could print a bullish hammer like that tomorrow?
Well, no, that's the thing. It wouldn't be able. In order to do that, we'd have to close back at the lows, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be the hammer. It's just not going to be a green candle; it'll just be a red candle. But I can certainly see us closing above 49, if not at 49.5, creating a massive hammer candle, but it's just red.
That would be great. That would, and that's what day are we on now in the week? I mean, it's still the middle of the trading week, isn't it? So there's a lot of time for things to get very crazy.
Right, but what I don't want to see is, I don't want to see this situation. Like here's a similar candle to today's candle, right there, the May 19th candle, that was actually a lot worse than today's candle. So you can see how this candle was down 30% and closed down 13. So that is a lot more catastrophic than current candle, which was only down 18% and is currently down 10. So it's not as bad as that one. But then after this candle, we basically did not breach the top of that candle until like 3 months later. So it took us, look at that, right? So,
I think Bitcoin's in a much better place than that because it.
Oh, it is.
I don't see that much resistance on the chart. I think it should be able to. Yeah.
It is. This took 3 months to clear the top of that candle. I think it'll just take us a week to clear the top of this candle.
Yeah. I would have said about the same. It's just it doesn't have any resistance. This is just emotional selling.
Yeah. But either way, we gotta wait till this day is over. And like literally, this candle is 50% through its life cycle. So we still have half a day to go. Like if Bitcoin has already done this in half a day, God knows what it's going to do in the second half of the day. And like I said, I would not be surprised if we go back up and close above 50K. And if we go back up and close above 50K, that is incredibly bullish. That is so freaking bullish, because what that means is all of the people that went in bullish with leverage, thinking they're going to make a shit ton of money, just got freaking crushed and liquidated and caused their stop losses. And now they're scared to be bullish again. And that creates open air for Bitcoin to go further bullish. Like the higher this candle closes today, from this point on, the more bullish I am for the next 2 weeks. So if this candle goes all the way back up and closes above 50,000, we're probably going to be at 60,000 in a week or two.
That would the way I like to convey these things is it's the bears trying to take the price really, really low and just getting a very strong no from the bulls. And that's opening the window of opportunity massively for the bulls to take it flying high when we get such a strong rejection to the downside. Like we're not able to keep pushing that downside. That would be amazing. I was just wondering about time zones as well. It's China and all that's asleep now or heading to sleep. It's America waking up.
Not the Bitcoiners.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in Bitcoin, you're not getting sleep tonight. But yeah. I was just thinking about that as well. I'd probably be waiting for the UTC close today, and then maybe see if I can.
Hey guys, we might be wrapping this up soon. I want to promote the financial summit taking place in Dubai. Sammy will of course be there. We do have your profile in here. If you just click on more notable attendees, there you are. We're getting close, man. We only have about 10 seats left. Let me see here in the form. 9 seats left in this entire event, but it's only designed for about 50 people. So we're running low. Sammy will of course be there. And there is also Understanding Bitcoin in Dubai, October 14 to 15. If you're gonna be around Dubai, man, October 14, 15, come to the Understanding Bitcoin event.
Those of you in my live stream, I've just pinned the link in the live chat for the financialsummit.com. So if you want to get your tickets, come join that. And Tone, do you want to explain a little bit about what this is for those?
This is like a 6-day event for hedge funds and traders. This is all finance, unlike Understanding Bitcoin, which is zero finance and all about learning how to properly use Bitcoin. This one is all about trading, and it's a networking event where we just discuss, trading strategies, investment strategies. It's out in the desert, so it's somewhat secluded, where you're just networking with very high profile, high net worth people. And very nice, beautiful resort. It's about $1,000 a night. And all of that is included with the fee to join this event. It kind of started with me and a couple of other traders, one of them being Willie Woo. We were just hanging out in Thailand and just talking trading for a couple of days. And I thought, you know what? Other people may want to join. So here it is. And it's designed for the high net worth. And we do provide a lot of free stuff to attend. Sammy, I got to talk to you about that. It's time to release our trading knowledge to those that sign up and attend. Willie Woo provides his newsletter. You're going to provide one of your courses to the attendees. I'm providing all of my stuff. We provide all of Tyler Jenks' stuff, Ugly Old Goat. So the people do come, the senior traders that do come, do want to help all the other attendees. That some of them do come there to learn a little more about trading, though it is designed for the intermediate to advanced trader. But it doesn't mean that you can't boot camp learn and catch up in a month or two prior to the event.
You definitely can, because there's so many great resources. I mean, I can only speak for my own and yours because I've watched those two. But if you know nothing about trading, you can go through those resources and have enough knowledge to then come to this summit and make good use out of it. You will have to rush yourself a little bit. But that's, we were talking about trading. So, that's the name of the game. Time is everything here. So it's well worth checking out. And it is pinned in the live chat here. That's going to be exciting.
Right. Let's, I'm going to mention my stuff real quick, and then I'll give screen share to you. I do use the MRI. This is one of my top indicators. Those interested can pick up the MRI at Tone Vays indicator products and services. We'll take a look at Bitcoin charts one more time, guys, before we head out. And you can check out my calendar of all the events I'm traveling to. I'm going to spend a lot of time in Dubai, October, November. I'm back over there. Also the on-demand videos, and I have a free learn trading section. Peeking back at the price of Bitcoin. We're back about 47. I'm going to be watching this obviously the rest of the day. Everybody will. Maybe I'll try to do another video later tonight on US time. I'm still in the US before I head off over towards Europe and Dubai. All right, Sammy, I'm going to give screen share over to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot more to add on top of that. I think it's all been said and done. Those of you who watch my stuff, you already know the deal. If you want to join VIP and see how I'm trading, it's the link down below. I won't talk about Bybit today out of courtesy for you.
No, I mean, I don't mind Bybit. I like
well, it's just no. I mean, it can be damaging for your channel in a legal way if I talk about it.
Who knows?
So I don't want to run that risk. That's an unnecessary risk to be running. I've got the Financial Summit here as well. If you missed the URL, it's thefinancialsummit.com, spelled normally, and all the details, including prices, are here. I wanted to ask you one more question, and this is about the meta of trading. One of the viewers here in my live chat just mentioned that he made some good money trading Solana right here. And I don't know if you even follow this. I don't. I know nothing about it. But this person mentioned that he bought Solana somewhere around here and sold it somewhere around here and is very happy about that. And my instant reaction, I mean, I had two reactions. First of all, it's none of my business, so congratulations. But the second reaction I had was that was incredibly stupid. And it's dangerous to be trading timeframes like this. My take on this is you've made a profit, which is going to cost you more than any loss you can probably make in this market right now, because this profit has given you confidence at a time where I think most sensible traders are kind of taking it easy. Tone, do you have any comments on kind of, trading in this range and then more importantly, making profits? And if that, because a lot of people watching are in this position, or maybe they've lost money. Any ideas?
I'm not familiar with Solana.
I just mean broadly with trading. It happened to be Solana, but it could have been buying Bitcoin at 43, selling at 47.
Right. Look, I've even on live streams like this, I have played around with catching falling knives. As long as you do it with very low leverage and you understand your risks and you're not just guessing. Because remember, if your trades are really, really lucky, eventually, I mean, you're not going to be a poker player continuously profitable based on luck. So it's the same thing here. If you were lucky or if there was actual skill involved in that trade. And also when people say, oh, I picked it up here, I sold it there, you don't know what they did. I mean, they could have bought $5 worth of the token with zero leverage and sold it, at $10 worth of the token with zero leverage. So you don't know how much money people are investing in this. This is why you really want to be careful with people that are clearly picking these things up. It's not a strategy I like to use. I like to trade efficient markets. And I know there was also comments in my live chat, how come you guys never talk about the markets being manipulated? When you trade liquid markets, they're not manipulated, or they're not manipulated in a way that should affect you. And blaming manipulation of the market for bad trading is exactly what it is. It's blaming manipulation for bad trading. And if you're going to blame manipulation for your bad trades, trading is not for you. You want to trade stuff that you will not blame manipulation on. And if a trade isn't working out, you got to get out of that trade and find another trade.
Yeah, but blaming manipulation is like saying you've hit on a girl and she's not into you because she's a lesbian. It's like the funniest line someone can pull that reveals more about them than anyway, just a funny note. Your live stream is your Zoom video is freezing up, so I think it's time for us to wrap this up right now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's just completely not working on my side.
I think that's on your side because I'm watching my own live stream on the side and I don't see anything freezing.
Yeah, probably is my side then. But yeah, the final note for me then, guys, is if you have enjoyed this live stream, again, let's smash up those likes one more time. This has been a very good live stream, hour and a half with Tone Vays. We don't get to do this every day. If you want to see more of this, let me know in the comments down below. Do all the other good stuff like subscribing, and I'll hand it over to you, Tone.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for joining me, Sam. We'll do another one of these soon. I will probably see you as I cross the Atlantic Ocean in the near future. So our paths will cross in person. I'll try to bring you guys either another stream later tonight. I want to see where this closes. I'll probably do a stream near the candle close because I'm really curious how this candle is going to end. Thank you all so much for watching, guys, and see you all soon on the next one.